to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the sky.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are now chatting with Chairman of TADCO, Mr. Ricardo Alfred. So good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Alfred.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Tobago.
All right, so speaking to us this morning, he will be getting into some mastering butchery skills that is going to be offered by TADCO, and it starts from today and goes till 26th.
Yes, 3 days.
Yes, so tell us about it.
Right, so the intention really is that over the years, persons are involved in their livestock production, meaning that they just sell the goat at live weight to persons in Trinidad and persons who may have 1 or 2 events, birthdays, weddings, that type of thing. So what this training would offer is that they would have a value-added product now, meaning that they can have different specialty cuts that the restaurants, groceries, these guys who are there on the course right now, I had a meeting with them this morning where I'm trying to encourage them to form different groups, form these networks. They would have access to the facility once they get their certificate. I made it very clear to them about the safety part of it, that we are going to set some rules when they're using these saws. After the completion of the thing, there'll be no cell phones, of course. There'll be no chatting. There will be just strictly focus. And it was a very young group, very strong group, actually. We have some members from the Tiller group there, which is very good. The Tobago Integrated Livestock Association. So they are there, and the aim is for them to have more value-added products coming out of their raw produce, which is the goat live. And so it's a 3-day program. As a very skilled lecturer, it's going to break them down into different things. So you're going to have lamb, goat, and chicken into different specialty cuts where they can now choose to package it and sell it to the local population, because that is what TADCO is supposed to be about.
And why is this necessary? Like, why did TADCO decide to have this training?
You see, we have to close the loop, meaning that it's not just, so we know the persons can mine animals, we know persons can do different types of crops. The aim of it is to create that closed loop straight from the farm, straight into your household. So the aim is to create that type of product and that type of capacity building it right here in Tobago. So it's to close that loop, because when we buy stuff, we have to now package it and pay someone to cut it up. So why not invest in the persons right here on the island in terms of them bringing out their, building some capacity as well, and also letting them offer more value for their product. So, I mean, I have a couple goats. I have about maybe 30-something sheep and about maybe the same in goats. And as I understand the need for moving from $18 a pound to now $40 a pound, so it's therefore going to build some capacity building there. So I'm quite pleased, and we're going to have more of this training because it was oversubscribed. So we're going to have some more persons trained and therefore building Tobago.
Now, after this training, how will we ensure that these people who have gotten these skills now are connected with the players in the industry so that they can continue to operate and they can themselves build?
Right. So again, it's all about closing the loop. So now you have the abattoir, which will therefore do the slaughtering. From the abattoir, they can now come across to our facility with the certificates, of course. They will go through some training again and some familiarization before using the saws, and then they can now make their product. We now have a schedule in which times of different persons to come in and use these type of equipments, and therefore building their skill and growing their trade, and growing their business as well. So it's a loop. It's closing the loop. That's what it's about, really.
And then at the end of the day, what does TADCO aim to produce in terms of the meat industry in Tobago? How do you see that forming? And yes, so tell us all about that.
So TADCO has the largest cold storage facility on the island. Again, the loop will now be closed. So now they're going to have the slaughtering from the abattoir, the cutting of the meat at TADCO, and then the storing of the meat and stuff in the cold storage, which can now go out to the supermarkets and groceries, and therefore keeping that all these gaps for contamination very small, and therefore building the product. So it's all about that loop, and I'm quite pleased where we are at TADCO, actually. in the past we would have had some challenges, with the equipment and stuff like that, but I'm quite pleased where we are. I must commend the staff. If you look at Tadco now, we have some nice bright colors, and that was all done by the staff. Therefore, saving the company some money and allowing the staff to, we are doing a lot of capacity building with the staff as well, getting them to work with each other, doing a lot of programs with, team building exercise, which is therefore really, really important, and building some morale back on the company. So I'm quite pleased where we are right now.
And in terms of certification and making sure we have a specific standard in the
Yes.
way that we deal with meat in particular, but of course agriculture, how far are we along the line in getting to that point? Will Tadco also be certifying farmers and agro-processors and giving them that stamp of approval saying that, yes, you've met these industry standards, and then it's guaranteed almost to the public that they are getting the highest quality when they go out there to purchase?
Right. So again, if you look at the overall standard, let's look at the capital of paradise. When the fish is caught, the fish is gutted, stuffed with ice, and goes into the cold storage space. Again, this is all necessary to maintain all the HACCP standards. So the fish that we sell is of a very high standard. We are going to be doing some training on the 7th of April, which would include some safety at sea practices, and also it would include identifying what fish to reject. Because some fish do come with diseases. So I want the fishermen and them to understand what to look for when they see some of these fish. Because fish will have things like, they are cancer in some of these fishes, but you have to know what to look for, different spots, what to look for. So we are going to have that type of training. Again, it's all about closing the gap as relates to standard and quality. Again, with this butcher training, from the certificate, they'll be trained and now certified to do these specialty cuts, which I believe will therefore build Tobago. Tobago has a very strong market in the livestock sector, and it's to give the guys and them that skill. I would really like to reduce the amount of sheep vans and stuff coming up to Tobago, but that is the reality right now. So how do we close that gap? And it's by training the guys and them how to do these specialty cuts and reducing the amount of vans coming across for these raw animals.
Now, as you mentioned, the program for the butchery has been oversubscribed, but there will be more.
Yes.
How can people get connected?
So I would say keep staying tuned to the Tadco page. We have, I encourage the staff to be very noticeable right now on the Facebook and social media programs. So it's going to be there. We're going to have more of these programs coming along, and we're going to have more persons trained. At the end of the day, you have these HACCP standards which require some level of certification. So we're going to be having various training in different aspects of agriculture, and have persons have that certification. It's really, really important that they go away knowing that they have it trained, and I want to encourage them again, because at the packing house, we have these spaces, we have some equipments there, which we are going to work at a schedule again for persons to come in and use these equipments, because we have to move away from that kitchen type manner and that backyard type behavior to a more clean environment that is controlled. You can control the amount of organisms and substance coming in and people. So it's all in a loop to close that gap and to have persons certified and close that gap as relates to standard, so that what persons eat out of Tadco or eat right here in Tobago, it must be of a certain high standard.
All right, great. Well, I want to thank you so much, Mr. Alfred, for coming on and for sharing with us some of those developments, especially where butchery is concerned. And for viewers, if you are interested in being part of the butchery program, of course, get connected with Tadco, and you can be part of the future training sessions that are happening, because, of course, this session started today and will end on Wednesday, but there is more coming.
Yes.
So get connected so that you can improve your butchery skills. So thank you again. And viewers, well, that's all that we have for you this morning on GMT. It was a pleasure being with you. I am Kandace Jackson, and we will see you again tomorrow.